All right, so the Independent American is here with...
Dave the sound guy.
How you doing?
You know how I'm doing.
So,
waste these people's
I
time.
know, wasting everybody's time here. Hey, it's an inaugural show, so what do you want? Let's get into Kinks work, though.
Let's get right into the
Let's get into
new iPhone.
New iPhone, that's coming out, huh? $1,000 for them to sit there and be able to scan your face.
This is really, really disturbing. I'll tell you, it's not just scanning your face to recognize your face. This thing can actually, to some degree, read your emotions. This is really invasive. I mean, this is one more step to just implanting these things in our, in our skull somewhere.
But Snapchat and all that has the filters that all have facial recognition software in them anyway. At this point,
right?
So I mean, you would just taking that and you're just putting it up to an even greater level by being able to say, all right, you use this instead of using on the iPhone. I have an iPhone 7, so you use a little home button on there. You can punch in your passcode. Now this way, they're saying you'll be able to open up your phone just by having the phone look at you in the face. So now it's pretty much as like they're going to sell it on the whole thing of nobody can guarantee a phone but you, because if you have that feature on, that's it. Ultimate in privacy. That's how they market it.
Right.
But what's the real?
People are going to buy it based on that. But
what's the real?
There are a lot of look into. I would tell people to look into it yourself and see what can be determined, or what they believe can be determined by your facial features and your expressions. They know to some degree, just with the technology that's already on your current phone, what happens and what expression you make when somebody likes something of yours on Facebook. They know that you get that little dopamine hit, and it's it's come to the point where there's really not much left that they can do while keeping the machine outside of your body. I mean, it's reading your face and your expressions. The only step left to really knowing what you're thinking is being inside of your mind somehow and being able to detect how you're thinking, which sounds like conspiracy nonsense, but they've been mapping the brain in real time for years. It's not new technology, and of course they use it for research with product testing and things like that.
Well, from what I've read up a little bit on it, I can see that even with the new iPhone coming out, that they have that whole facial recognition, that they can it's actually made so that you can actually put your phone on a table, just like I have it sitting there in front of us, and the phone can pretty much pick up the faces of anybody sitting in front of it. So now you're going to sit there and worry about the person that's sitting there in a group with you has that on their new iPhone to look cool. Look what I got. My phone turns on by looking at my face. Yeah, and when you have that phone sitting on the table in front of us, it's looking at all of our faces. That's an invasion of privacy.
You know what's funny is you go back and read 1984 now and say, I wish it was just the TVs. I wish it was just one ministry of truth that at least you knew they were full of it.
It's everything.
It's yeah.
Because now what they're saying is that not only what will happen is that this has a patent on it, obviously, but in time patents are up, and then the technology is going to be available to whoever else. So of course, obviously now this will go on to Microsoft and Google, and they'll all have their version of their smartphones will have it. Windows. All those smartphones will have it, and then, within about 5 to 7 years, what do you think, was it 10 years for a patent? Between 5 and 10, I think it's between 5 and 10 years for a patent to be up. Once that's 5 to 10 years.
Depends on, I think, what it's a patent for.
Well, whenever the patent, I know Nextel, when they had the Nextel phones, there was a patent on the push to talk for only so long. I know. And then what happened was once that patent was up, Verizon got into it, Sprint got into it, then Sprint acquired Nextel, but before that, Verizon had to push the talk feature. So as soon as that patent was up, the other companies jumped right on top of that technology.
Right.
So what will happen is within about 10 years or so, or within the next 10 years, this will be on every smartphone out there, and you will not know if you're safe from any of them. And for that to be even able to be an option, for them to do that, it's one of our rights being taken away from us.
Well, we're gonna have to see what happens. All we can do is, to the best of our ability, make people aware of it. This is what's going on. This is where it could lead, and in part, this is where it's already led. You have your photograph taken thousands of times every day.
Yeah, but what if
for the most part, whenever you're in a public building, whenever you're in a public place, you should assume that you're being filmed. That's the reality of our day-to-day now.
Yeah, but that's in a public place. But this isn't in your home. This person could be in your home. Like I'm in your home right now. Think about it. This thing is on right here. If this was an iPhone 10, they'd be looking at you and I here in a private residence where where you should be able, you believe you're free from being surveilled on the outside.
Well, I think everybody should be aware by now that any device that you have that
Well, your
has a
TVs,
signal,
smart TVs,
that has any kind of a signal, especially a wireless signal, is capable of being hacked into.
Yeah.
Not only by the manufacturer, who can basically access your device anytime it wants to, and if it is ordered to do so by the right government entity, will do so on their behalf. Not that they need it, but this is something. This facial recognition software. This is something entirely new, and it's different from the Snapchat filter. Although I would not surprise me to find out that a lot of the beta testing for this was done with that.
So Snapchat filters. What happened was Snapchat got the filters. And then I know if you do, when you go on Facebook, they have your pictures that you can actually do those filters now with your pictures on Facebook if you take it through the Facebook app.
That's. Can I tell you one of my favorite things about not being on Facebook anymore is not being on Facebook anymore. Facebook is like where dreams go to die. It's honestly.
Dreams go to die and snowflakes go to melt.
But I watch people on Facebook or Instagram or any one of these, and it's like The Walking Dead. How much worse is it going to get when this thing basically is melded with your face digitally, and now you have an M. Have you heard about these things?
What?
Oh, look it up. We won't even get into it now because it would take forever. But look up what is an M, EM, and we'll talk about that next week. Interesting stuff. We're gonna have to get into the AI thing. We're gonna have to make that.
The AI thing is definitely going to tie into all
really
this.
get into that because there's a lot going on in the field of artificial intelligence and sentient technology, and I think we really need to take a look at it and see where it's going, what the possibilities are, and where this is going to go in the near future.